Oh, this is your boy Don Peter, gentlemen. As a matter of fact, man. This is your boy Don Peter, gentlemen. Welcome to the Exoticprenuer Show, where defining your purpose is learning with pride. We are here. I am live. We are ready to go. It's been an exciting situation. I've been loving everything and everything about it, simply because life is good. Life is great. I haven't been worried about anything. Things are moving perfect. Moving forward. More importantly, is that going forward, I want to make sure that I set a tone and a premise of what this show is all about. Now, first, it's based off of my book here, Defined by Purpose, Into the Exoticpreneur. So, from here, I will be reading passages out of my book, and then I'm going to give you the story behind it, the principles behind it, but more importantly, I want to give you some tips and game on how we move in the exoticpreneur world, in the exotic entertainment industry, how I used to move in there, and how you can apply it to your modern day strategies for marketing, for personal development, for relationships, and for transforming and transmuting your energy to go to the next level. So inside the exoticpreneur world, in the transformation of becoming an exoticpreneur and not just an exotic entertainer or someone that's working in business and you're trying to figure things out and they're just hustling, is there's a certain point that you're going to have to transition out. Now, in my first episode, I explained the difference between an exoticpreneur and an entrepreneur. And the main thing that I want you to understand from an exoticpreneur's point of view, and I'll read you the exact definition right from the back of the book. So this definition is really what I call exoticpreneur, and that's an individual using their unique attributes to create a successful alignment of their mind, body, and spirit that attracts high value energy in the form of capital, social, emotional, and relationship gains. Okay? So, what exoticpreneurs essentially does is they have mastered the laws of attraction in the form of multiple places, where that they mastered and they apply capital intelligence or financial intelligence, where that they're at least attracting the money to them. Now, financial literacy is a totally different thing. So we will expand on that. So inside of the exoticpreneur, defined by purpose, which you can get right on Amazon. Just type in my name, Donald Paratus. Just type in my first and last name, Donald Paratus, and you'll see it. So all you gotta do is, if I got it right here, here's my, just type in my name. Just type in my name in the Amazon search, and you'll see all my books. So we make it easy right there. You feel me? So I don't want to make it complicated. But anytime you want to follow me, make sure that you follow me. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and I think at Donald Paratus. Simple as that. So it's my first and last name, and you can follow the main page where a lot of this replays and contents will be posted on the Exoticpreneur actual Instagram page and YouTube. So the YouTube is the same as my first and last name. So we make it simple right there. But if you don't get it, you need to get this, Defined by Purpose. Look on the DonaldParatus.com and grab it. You feel me? It's right there, or go right on Amazon. It's really good. And we get into the things. So going forward, what I want to make sure that I share with y'all was how this works in the modern day, in the 21st century. So we want to expand on like my ideas and some of my predictions on in the economy, in the market. If you're trying to get your marketing and your ideas out, one thing I can share with you is that I've been a professional marketer, and I understand the psychology and the structure of marketing from studying the greats. So marketing from the Bible all the way up to modern day 21st century, using current technologies, but the principles are the same. So you will get a lot of value, a lot of ideas. And my goal is not to give you something that you can't use right now. Okay. So my intent going forward, every time I go live, and we'll be going live every Tuesday at 8:30. Preferably at 8:30, where that I'll go live, where you'll be able to come in, tune in, be able to also tap in with your comments, concerns, any ideas that you want to have, anything that you want to have a interactive conversation. So let me give you some full maintenance on that. I don't argue with anybody. My stance and my beliefs is based off of principles that I can prove, things that I've found, things I've did, things I lived. But I'm always open to ideas, different opinions. I'm always open to those. So understand, I'm not a one track mind person. I just know what works based off of me working it. But of course, I'm always open for a different way to approach it. And so, if you're anytime you want to tap in, I'm live right on Facebook, so you can actually come on board, or you can dial in if you don't want to be seen at 313-744-5945. You'll be able to just text in and we'll dial in, and you'll be able to actually, no, don't even do that. Call this number 248-469-8340. You'll be able to call that number, and you'll be able to come in live, and we'll be able to hear you. We won't be able to see you, but we'll be able to hear you. So you can actually call in live anytime if you have a topic or something that you want to share, and you want to get your idea off, and we have an open-ended conversation. You feel me? So I'm not here to judge anyone, because God knows I did my things, and I did them the way I wanted to do them, off that education. So let's move forward. So right here, I'm going to go ahead now in the Enter the Exotic Pro in the Defined by Purpose book, my original book. There is 18 guidelines that I found is the base of the roadmap, because they're not principles, they're guidelines. There's a blueprint. So when you're building a house, you can do a house without just from memory or ideas. But if you had a blueprint, it gives you a better understanding of how to structure your house to build it to the proper scale, so that you can go higher and make sure that at least the knobs are where they need to be, the walls are need to be where they need to be, and you're not just figuring it out as you go. So what I've found over my decade and a half of being in the exotic entertainment industry, making it from media marketing consultant, designer, photographer, or whatnot, printer, all the way up to an owner operator, where that every job, every position, I did, from the promoter level, from being a promoter to earning the right to be a manager, to earning the right to investing in, to being an owner, going through all of the nuances inside of that industry as an owner operator, as a promoter on the outside, and almost to being a dancer. The only thing that I didn't put on the stilettos and I didn't put on the G strings, but I had enough communication with the actual dancers based off of what feedback they gave me for me to be a better operator, and what they went through in their day-to-day lives and performance-wise, whether I got a strong understanding on how to effectively help them become successful, in which they went out and did, but also learn the patterns that the high-earning entertainers did versus the low-earning entertainers did. So those principles in marketing tactics, I'm going to share with you, and I broke it down to very, very clear, designed guidelines that I found was very instrumental on securing your success, no matter where you at in life. So if you were in the game, then these guidelines will help you navigate perfectly. But if you were never in the game, but you just want to understand, well, how do I become successful in this modern day? What type of mindset do I need to have? Why am I failing? Why am I not getting where I need to go? Well, first things first, it has to deal with your mindset. That's the first things first, your mindset. If you look at things from one point of view, then how are you going to be able to understand things from the way that the people that have got where you being? You get what I'm saying? So like, I can only speak from success because I've had success. I've gained experience, but I also understand that a famous quote that a person stated with me is that I can use my own experience for a lesson, but I'd rather use the experience of others to gain the best wisdom. So I don't know if I'm quoting that right, but y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all get the point behind it. Is that the fact of the matter that if you learn from somebody who's already did it and has done it and maintained it for a long period of time. So when I got called out of it, it wasn't like I needed to call out of it. I got called out of it because it was a different calling on me. It was a different anointing, or if you will, it was a different purpose of why I can able to communicate. Because if I just stuck with the way I thought prior to coming to the industry, I'll still be a lame, dang, no connection, wouldn't be able to talk to anybody, black, blue, green, or purple, only be able to relate to people who were into computers, web development, and anime. And yes, that's one circle of it, but by me going into that world and becoming successful in that industry, even though I didn't know nothing about it and understand it, I didn't do anything out of the way because I didn't understand how to do it. And I was already in my 20s. So a lot of times when you get in that game, you come in that game at 18, 19, legally. Of course, I met people that was in the game beforehand, and we had to get them out of there because I seen the ramifications of all this stuff. Back in the day before my time, there were people that were coming in the game and they would tell me their story. They was in the game at 13, 14. They were just fully developed, and the managers and the owners at the time didn't give a fuck. Well, really the managers, because the owners didn't even know. They just look like what they look like. And because of that, they have to institute a lot of different laws, a lot of different licenses and compliances because this is a prime playground for immoral situations, even though ethically, you was just entertaining and just performing and getting through. Because that's how I was introduced to the businesses as a whole. I was introduced as this was an entertainment industry, and this was just a adult oriented type of entertainment, meaning that the women were able to take their tops off, and the men were able to gyrate with their booty out. Some of them did a little bit extra, but that was not the premise of the situation. It just that's what it was. So because of that, that's how I understand the game now, and that's the exotic entertainment. There's a difference between exotic entertainment and adult entertainment. That's why we call it gentlemen's clubs. Okay, gentlemen's clubs is for gentlemen, and there's levels to this stuff. If you read my book, you'll learn all about that stuff. That's neither here nor there. So let's get into. Now I'm coming from chapter 2, so the guidelines right here, and what I wanted to do was I'm just gonna grab grab one of the guidelines. Now it's 18 total, so I'm gonna pull from guideline number 3. Now, guideline number 3 is the truth about friendships when making money. So I'm going to tell this story. So it was a story. Now this is based on a true story, but I changed the names for obvious reasons. However, the principles still remain the same. And if y'all feeling this, what I'm saying, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Comment later. Comment below. When you catch on the replay, make sure that y'all like and subscribe. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe, but also comment and let me know how y'all feel about this stuff and what y'all may have experienced if you was in the game, or how you may have looked at it. You might not be in the game, but seeing how that stuff, see it, do this relate to your regular life outside of the people that what they went through in this life. Okay. Make sure you comment below. Like, subscribe, comment. You feel me? So I'm just gonna read exactly what it is on here. So Jennifer and Sarah were best friends in high school. They were inseparable. Both were very beautiful. When I met them, I asked them, "Are you best friends?" Because at this time I was a manager of one of the clubs, and I hope they don't get it. And I told them, I hope that don't get in the way when y'all start making money. Jennifer and Sarah said, "No way, we would never let that happen." I said, "Okay." I was like, during the first 3 months, they stayed true to form, working together, making sure each other had money. It was a team effort. So in the game, a lot of times it's a lot of things that come in the game. A lot of girls that was, and I'm only mostly talking about girls now. It's the same with guys, but the dynamics are a little bit different because in the guy world, groups actually makes it more dynamically and visually entertaining than singular girls. Okay, because in the male review area, the guys are putting on like a dance show, and then they do personalization, right? In a girls show, it's the pole. So since they doing a polo, it's a one-on-one situation. So when back when I was saying working together, they were making sure each other had money. It was a team effort. The customers loved them. At first, everything seemed okay. About 6 months passed, Jennifer started gaining more attention than Sarah. More people were requesting Jennifer to perform by herself, uh, getting feature requests and paid photo shoots for advertising promotions. Sarah but couldn't help but get envious and jealousy started brewing. You been around somebody where you was winning but they weren't winning? Now y'all both came in the game the same, right? Y'all both came in the game with nothing. Y'all came in with, girl, I'm about to go and hustle. You want to hustle with me? And realistically, subconsciously, y'all was basically like, I don't want to be in there by myself, and I want you to watch my back, right? But once you got in the game and you start being comfortable, it's just like if your friend got a job and you got a job, right? When y'all both get the job, y'all both started off the same, fair, right? But as one person was getting better at the job than the other, of course, now you get different friends, different cliques, more different people trying to connect with you, And now at this point, you would think, you would think that jealousy and envy wouldn't get in there, but it happens. How many of y'all can connect to somebody like that where all of a sudden you was get more notoriety than the other friend, and now they started moving different. They started acting funny. I always got the statement, "It smells like Judas." She's those little signs. So when I talk about this in my podcast on iTunes, the exoticpreneur experience, we go into that, like where this comes from. So this is based off the book. So everything that I'm talking about in that podcast on iTunes, Spotify, is based off of this book and based off the story. So um, if y'all feeling that, I'm gonna keep going. You feel me? So Jennifer, not noticing the change, kept going. And this is something that happened to me. So like a lot of people that I was working with, because mind you, I didn't grow up with nobody in this industry. I came in basically off of a relationship that I had with a magazine that I was working with. So it was just me and him. He started becoming a high profile promoter and marketer with the magazine and going larger. And I decided to stay in the industry at this point. So since I decided to stay in the industry, I built a notoriety for myself within that industry, even though I still to this day have love, admiration, and respect for them and him. And when he called for any special occasions, I was available. I just wasn't doing a lot of the field work anymore because I got a business that I'm running for myself, and he didn't kind of hate on that. He respected that because the field work was really for field photographers, field things, and I set the standard for like how that was supposed to go in the Midwest and nationwide. But after that, anybody could have done that. But when it came to like major stuff, like when we going in at the time, T.I., Jeezy, that was popping. We was going off of major events and concerts. I was there because you don't want to miss the opportunity when you're in those rooms. You don't want to be messing around like that. And that helped me get in a lot of rooms, learn a lot of different places, and see how they moved on the back end. So when he was progressing, and this is how a brotherhood or a connection or a friendship supposed to be. As they're progressing, you're progressing. But if they're progressing higher than you, don't be mad at them. You actually be supporting them. Why? Because if they brought you in the door at that level, why wouldn't they keep bringing you up with them? If they're there, why would that become a conflict? But yet we experience that a lot. And I know I experienced it when I became the leader, and all of a sudden, the people that I thought would be for me started finding ways to turn against me and leverage me. Like I didn't earn my right to be there, and like it was just them that was catapulting me. But I was like, well, we're working together. So my perspective was this: yeah, they let me in the room, but I'm bringing you in there, and I'm standing up for you. Now the whole thing is we both in the room, so don't fumble. you know, like if you got ideas and they're trying to cater to me, let your ideas go. Hell, I'll do the idea for you, and we just test the theory. I didn't get in the way of that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's politics in that stuff, and sometimes people just don't want to work with you just because you're different. And there's nothing wrong with being different. That's the great part about being an exoticpreneur. Your unique things is what attracts alliance. But there's a certain thing that I talk about in the 6 daily habits. In the 6 daily habits about the relationship habit, and some relationships are just cultivated just based off of who they who they comfortable working with, and who they don't are not comfortable working with, and that becomes a different type of psychology. And because I know that during that time, A lot of times they was thinking that they was manipulating me, but I was like, nah, actually I'm going with it because sometimes you gotta be you got in the 48 laws of power, sometimes you gotta use cat's paw. Sometimes you just gotta use somebody else to get where you need to be and y'all both eat. In this case, I was okay being the sacrifice because since my back was being watched, I could go forward without that much fear versus going forward and I had to watch my front and my back. It's just like if I was in the army, they always tell you to watch your six, which is your back. You feel me? So if I go out and I bust through the door and I'm busting in, I know that my homie is about to come busting too. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But let's continue with Jennifer. So Jennifer, not noticing the change, kept going in comparison to Jennifer. Sarah was a little thicker. As the girls became more popular, she started developing their own variety of clientele. Jennifer would invite her into a dance party, and the people would turn Sarah away. Sarah, becoming sad, depressed, envious, began lashing out. Jennifer screaming, and envious. I'm sorry, I'm skipping the line. Jennifer screaming at Sarah, you're not my friend. You're constantly hating on me. Why are you telling customers not to tip me? Jennifer, looking confused, respond like, what the fuck are you talking about? You feel me? I would make them spend money on you. I tell them all the time, we are a package deal. After many arguments, we were at a package. After many arguments, Sarah and Jennifer just got into a huge fist fight, and their friendship was broken up. Jennifer didn't talk to Sarah for almost 2 years over that time. Jennifer continued for another 5 years in the industry, networking with directors and entrepreneurs, even starring in a few music videos and independent films. On the other hand, Sarah got into a relationship with someone within the industry and ended up starting a family. They reconnected on social media, eventually meeting up, and they talked about the whole thing. Sarah and Jennifer are back friends now. So in that story, you hear it right there. Once they got the fighting, fortunately, in my experience, I didn't have to get to a situation where that me and my boys got the fighting, but it almost got to that point. It was a couple of situations where that nose to nose, face to face, but we just didn't throw blows, and the respect was there. But it was like we got to go there, and me personally, I would smile at you. If I felt like we got to go there, I'm smiling because I'm doing my best to defuse the situation before it turns into a situation that I don't want, but I'm going to have to make it. I'm going to have to finish what we started because my dad didn't raise me to be no hoe. And during that time, no one knew if I was capable of what I was capable of not. But see, the reality situation is that if I get to the point where we have to fight each other, and I understand that's a testosterone thing, that's a man thing. Sometimes you just got to go to blows to get it off your chest. I found that I'm not going to play fair. I'm not going to fight fair. Like no one fights fair in real life. I'm not going to try to hurt you. I know me. I'm going to try and take you out the game so we ain't coming back from that shit because there ain't no bullying with me. And the premise behind that is because people tried to bully me when I was younger. Like in high school, in freshman year, I played football. I wasn't that big, but I was fast. I was running back and I was a wide receiver. So, doing freshman Fridays, this is back when freshman Fridays was thing and BB Butcher was popping. You feel me? So it's some time ago. And they tried to do the whole bullying, stuff me in the locker shit. That didn't fly, but they did try to, rush me and jump me and all that shit. I was like, all right, cool. The quarterback tried to do that shit. He got me, caught me slipping. Mind you, I carried 50 pounds worth of books every day. So mind you, since I'm carrying 50 pounds worth of books every day, I caught him in school. He sit down doing his classwork. I walked past him and cracked that nigga with my whole motherfucking bag, knocked him the fuck out. And that was the end of that. So that whole chip rolls all the way up to this bar game. Where that, okay, we gonna go to things because you feeling some type of way, you thinking some type of way, and you trying to like press your idea. And I'm telling you, like, look, it ain't that, it's this. But if we don't, we can agree to disagree. But if you want to go there, we'll go there. But before we go there, I won't smile about it, because when I'm smiling, I'm doing everything to keep myself calm, because I know if we got to go to blows over your understanding, which we call a misunderstanding, versus what is actually happening, and nigga, I'm coming, and I'm not going to stop until you incapacitate. You ain't coming back, because I understand niggas would we want a lick back, and I don't play that lick back shit, nigga. I got to take you out, because other than that, it's going to be never be that. And to this day, fortunately, since we never got to blows, we are close friends to this day, because now all of my friends, we are still friends. We can still call each other, we still chop it up, we still do this, we still do that, because something about that, just like, it'd be like, oh yeah, I whooped your ass, I can get you. Well, you ain't gonna be that. It's gonna be like, oh, and it's like fuck boys out here now that if you beat a nigga ass, nah, he gonna come back and try and shoot your life up. See, and I know that's the psychology and that's the mentality, so I don't even play like that, because you don't play with people and you don't play with people. You feel what I'm saying? So and that's on no level. So because you get to that point, we see that wasn't what's up, but you see how the money happened. Once they start getting money, once that attention start becoming attention, now all of a sudden the envy coming in, and the envy ain't even the enemy. See, one thing you learn in the game is that customers, people gonna choose who they gonna choose. You don't control who they spend money with. Your job is to be available when they're ready to spend some fucking money with you. Now, because we're in the industry, they like who they like. And great part about that industry, just like in the regular industry, in the regular world of marketing, people like who they like. People spend money with who they like, who they know, like, and trust. They don't spend no money with nobody else. They might support you out of like, oh, I'm with my homegirl and I got plenty of money. So yeah, all right, if I'm eating, yeah, I know I'm dating your girl, but hey, you with me, you family, and we treat you like family. So all right, baby girl, you can eat with us too. But as he or she is not obligated to pay for you just because you're just because you dare. Their responsibility was to mess with who they was trying to mess with. But since you there and they good people, catch the sauce. They good people, they're gonna look out for you. But they're not obligated with you. That's not an invitation for you to be expected motherfuckers to do shit for you. But that's also not an invitation for you to be mooching or leeching off of someone's kindness. So, but since these were best friends coming in the game, it's also the fact of the matter that if I eat, you eat, why would you get in the way of that? But yet they do it all the time. I've seen it many times. So what I would do, and I'll tell you how I handle it. I'll tell you how to handle it, then I'll tell you how we play with it. How I handled it is that I just set my rules. Like, there was no roaching. Whereas, like, and I'm watching the floor, and now all my staff and all my security will watch the floor. We would literally watch and see if a chick was sliding on a money throwing situation, because we don't play the thirst. If you got to be thirsty, this is where the water is at. This is the oasis. So if you got to be thirsty and there's plenty of water out here, but you're trying to get somebody else's water, hey baby, you got to go. That was just played like that. We don't play those games. Why? Because in my tenure of running and managing and operating my nightclubs, I have never had a fight, not one, especially during the show. So that was a part of the rules. So when girls would come envious and stuff, they will have the after party. Then they want to catch them in the street, so they want to bring that drama afterwards. So because of that, I state this: the drama will happen in any industry. So when you come in with your friend that you love so much, be mindful. When money is involved, things can quickly change. The dynamics of a seemingly good relationship will change the dynamics of a seemingly good relationship. I was brought into the industry through someone who I had a bond with, didn't know anything about the streets or the industry. It was so embarrassing. I would dress in khakis and oversized t-shirts, a fitted cap, and penny loafers. Hey, look, I'm still me. Just a little bit more cleaner with it. You know what I'm saying? The beard grew in. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I look like Mr. Rogers trying to be hood, yet extremely naive. I respected him and I looked to him for guidance. Oh, this is a whole nother story. So I ain't gonna get into that. That's a whole nother story that we'll get into it. So, but with that being said, hey, look, understand that I learned that some of your best relationships doesn't involve money. But if you involve money, understand that that energy is reciprocated energy. Sow into your friends and they will sow into you. I set a precedence. If we never did any transactional relationships together, then I understand that we really don't have a relationship. Because what is the biggest form of trust? Sharing your hard earned money, not time, not spent, not sent there. Because why? You could spend a lot of time with somebody and you still don't know that person. You feel me? Is you picking up what I'm putting down on that? How many people can say to this day that spent years with somebody and still realize you really didn't know them because they did something outside of the character that they showed you and they couldn't keep the fronts up? But when you spend some money with somebody, you hold them to a totally different standard. Why? Because now you trust them in a way that's not as normal as the person that you just spent time with. Like all my relationships, friendships have all been the best ones I've ever had. We've done business together. Even if it's just minute business, it's like, hey, it's not the if I loan you money and then you maybe pay me back. It was, hey, look, I'm going to do this, and you're going to in exchange for this, and that was our that was our relationship. And then from there, if we were cool, we progressed that into like hanging out, spending time, but we still understood that we had history and business together. Jay-Z said it in one of his interviews just a moment ago, that when people want to ask him what was he charging for a feature, he said 99% of my features were because of the relationship. So we did business, but our relationship was our business was not transactional but commutative. So we was do stuff for each other, and in exchange we would do stuff for each other. So our currency was, we at the top of the food chain. Money is not involved in that space, but the currency and the legacy of the movement based off the relationships and the principles was more valuable. So I'm giving you some game on how you work your relationship on your level. So in the relationship habit, you got transactional relationships, you got social relationships, then you got impactful relationships. Okay, so and you got spiritual relationships. So we'll touch about that. So if you want to tap in a little bit more on that one, make sure you grab the 6 Daily Habits. You feel me? Go to 6dailyhabits.com or search my name on Amazon. You feel me? And we get into that. So, like I said, you got transactional relationships, you got transactional relationships, social relationships, and then you got spiritual relationships. And in the transactional relationships, it's your initiation. That's the how I meet you and how we communicate with each other. What is the standard? Because I don't know you from a can of paint, you don't know me from the can of paint. But if my offering is valuable enough, then we can actually create a transaction or some form of exchange. It's no different than when a man is trying to pursue a young lady, then the transaction is, hey, I need your number. Well, how do I get your number? I got to present myself as a person that is not creepy, shady, or ill intended to get your number. Why? Because what I want to offer you is valuable. However, whatever at that point is his value system. It may be some for sex. It may be for companionship. It may be for sensuality. It may be for sexuality. It really, the intention is going to matters, but the transaction is the presentation. So in your marketing business, in your goal to go to to actually start gaining attracting gains for you on a financial level or and on an attraction level, then you got to present yourself as someone that's worth dealing with. In the exoticpreneur industry, that's how I got my start. I had a skill in photography. My photography skills was on par with any high-ranking photographer at the time, equivalent to like a Vogue elite model level. How do I know this to be true? It's because I was trained by the motherfucker who was shooting for Vogue and Elite. My shit looked like his shit because that was the guy who culminated. So our work was compatible to anybody on a global level. It was world class. So when I brought that skill, that value and skill to the exotic entertainment industry, I had no equal. So because I had no equal, of course, I became the hot nigga. I became the it dude. Why? Because my skill was on par with anything, was better than anybody that was out there at the time. But also, my price point was at a point where it was a legacy, or it was quality to get with me. Like it was like getting with me was like getting with Gucci. You feel me? On your clothing, or getting with a nice up and coming artist that was hot. Like there was a status of, hey, look, I got a flyer and a promotion by Don P. That rang bells. So what you want to do in your business and in your transition as the principal is make your value so undeniable that people can't deny you. It's a book that I'm reading right now called Oversubscribed by Daniel Liskey, and he's a young entrepreneur, multimillionaire dude, and he states on having people so into what you're doing that it supersedes anybody else that's in that same lane. So if you're a hairstylist, you want to make sure that you're the hairstylist, not just a hairstylist. The difference is that the hairstylist is where all of the premier people are doing it, because everybody want to look like, well, wow, how a girl looking like that? See, and a lot of hairstylists out here be doing some very creative shit. Now, is it good for their hair? Yes, or maybe not. But is it sweet and it draws attention? Fuck yeah. Especially a lot of ones that's coming out of the ATL that were originally from Detroit. Crazy, right? So the creativity is there. So first thing is tapping into your creativity at the highest level. So if you're not that person, then start studying to be that person. Start learning the craft at a level where that you can do what anybody do, but you can also do it faster, better, and more equivalent. Because that's what people are looking for. People are looking for faster, better, and convenience. Okay, and being one of those people that can actually deliver that in a proficient and efficient way, you're going to always be in demand. So there's no shortage on business if you're doing good business. So like I said, the first level is transactioning. Present yourself like, I got a skill that's good, quality, valuable enough that I can do it gooder, faster, and better than whoever you is. Now, don't be the ones that be sitting here pretending and lying that you like that if you're not like that. The one thing that is a rule of this, that makes this rule, that's not an exception but a confirmation, is that you have to be honest. You have to tell the truth. If you're not that good, don't say you're that good. Say, hey, look, I just got out of beauty school. Hey, I'm great at what I know and what I'm good at. But if you're willing to work with me, I can become better. And we develop a relationship that becomes communitive. That's now you're elevating status. Okay, so that's the next level. The next level is, after the transaction of earning the value and trust, is the status with them. If you're beginning level and you're working on experience to get better, and someone takes a chance on you, then you keep working with them. You work with them and you elevate them like they elevating you. Do not, under no circumstance, get the big head. How do I know this? Because I did it. I got the big head once I was 7 years up in the game, and I'm thinking I ain't got no competition. When 7 years went by, there was a next level of folks that watched my success and started coming for me. So they started coming for my name, start coming for my brand, start coming for my style. And on top of that, I'm oversubscribed. So I'm overworked. I got more business than I can handle. So of course, I'm farming it out to people. I'm suggesting, but I'm telling them specifically who you need to deal with. Why? Because I wanted to maintain a certain level of relationship where that I'm not hating on the next person if their work is compatible to mine, if not better than mine. My thing was, and this is what I want you to hold yourself to a standard, and this is the spiritual to the level of your elevation, and that's being secure in yourself, where that you just want people, if you're good at being great, and then you're great at being godness, at being that greatness, and this is what my top line people, if you ain't got there, then this don't apply to you, still ain't got there yet. But if you're on my top line people, you're so good at being great that, and you get to your position where that you're already in demand, but you also know what you know, and you can produce it and you can turn it on and turn it off. Then there's a point where that you got to be secure in yourself. I want you to hear that. You got to be secure in yourself to share it with everybody else. If you're not secure with yourself to share with everybody else, then you can never accumulate the wealth that you've been claiming that you want, because anybody can be rich, only a few can be wealthy. And with that being said, I hope you found some value in reading this and hearing the story of chapter 3 of of friendships and relationships, and how the value of present yourself with value and present yourself with abilities that can exchange, and not making it based off of the amount of money, but based off the relationship that you can have with yourself, with your customers, and with the people that want to see value, and that they want to reciprocate that value back into you and sow into you as you sow into them. Okay, and with that being said, I need y'all to stay healthy. Make sure you subscribe and like this. Comment below if that connects with you. If you want to hear more, so comment below. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want to learn about. I'm going to keep reading from this book. And if that's feeling good, you feeling good, make sure you follow me at Donald Paratis. You see the name. Stay healthy. Let's get wealthy. Don P out. Peace.